First, want to thank you for joining us on this evening for our Parent Academy on behavior. And I want to first state that this is a Parent Academy on behavior, and I state it as behavior because it's not necessarily only about student behavior, but it's about behavior in general. What tonight we're gonna stay focused in that lane of behavior today. Discipline and behavior are similar, but are also very different. Okay, so behavior, by definition, is the way that one conducts oneself towards others. The way that one conducts oneself towards others. And that can be in a good way or that can be in a bad way. Depending on how we feel and what our state is or our mood, we're going to act differently. So we're going to live in that behavior lane. Discipline has a very important role as well, and that will be a conversation that we're going to have at a later date. Discipline involves more of that realm of my behavior has led to something that's going to have a consequence. Okay, and so this evening we're going to talk more about the why than the what we're going to do about it. And again, this is going to be information that is going to be useful to both you and to children. And so you are your child's first teacher. Okay, we're here together, and I again want to thank you for being here, partnering with us tonight for this opportunity to learn. So the first thing that I'm going to do is introduce you to what's called a Brain Start Smart. Okay, and a Brain Start Smart is a way that we do three things. It's an opportunity for us to unite, it's an opportunity for us to de-stress, and it's an opportunity for us to commit to this important information that you took out of your evening to come here for tonight. So I'm going to engage and lead you in an opportunity for a Brain Start Smart. When we're done, we'll explain the why behind starting this presentation tonight this way. So the first thing I need to do is I need you to look around the room, and to do this activity, I'm going to need you to have a partner. And I've got a bunch of extra partners up here that are willing to join you, but I'm going to ask Miss Erdman to come up here and join me, but if you could all please stand and find a partner, and we are going to start with a Brain Start Smart. Outstanding. All right, and so we've got our satellite sites, so I'm hoping you are ready for your Brain Start Smart, and at our other sites that we're ready to do this. We're going to do 3 rounds with this activity, and the first one's going to be, we're going to do 4 rounds with this activity. The first one's going to be real easy, okay? I am confident that all of you have the abilities to count to 3, right? And so Miss Erdman, my partner, and I are going to count to 3, and we're going to rotate. So I'm going to begin by saying, I'll model and then I'll have you do this. I'm going to say 1, she's going to say 2. I'm going to say 3. She's going to say 1. I'm going to say 2. She's going to say 3. Give it a shot. Let's see how you do. Oh, you guys are awesome. 100%. All right. Okay. Now we got to level things up, right? Okay. I'm going to make it harder, okay? This time, when I say 1, I'm going to clap. Then we're going to do 2, 3, and then 1 will clap. We'll demo again. 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. Your turn. All right. 1's clap. Oh, you guys are still 100%. All right. But it was harder. All right, we're going to level things up because this group is doing so well. We're going to have 2 steps. 1, we're going to clap. 2s, we're going to slap. Okay? 3s are just going to be 3. It goes like this. 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. Your turn. It's getting harder. All right, good. Last round, okay? Here it is. We'll be watching for the gifted and talented group here, the most coordinated, right? All right. This time, 1s are going to clap, 2s are going to slap, and 3s are going to high five. This is very difficult to remember who the 3 was because 1 has go. It looks like this. 1, 3, 1. Oh, oh, no. Okay.
Try again. We're gonna model correctly.
1, 3, 2. Let's see if you can do better than that. Go. Outstanding. Well done, everyone. Good job. If you can return to your seats and go ahead and just stay standing for me, though, behind your chair. I have a next portion of this activity to, again, get us in that most optimum part. We just laughed. We had fun. We did something that was difficult or easy. It made us smile. But now we need to get ready for this important information that we want to share. So we want to do an activity that helps us to disengage stress. And that opportunity to disengage stress is called star breathing. And the way that star breathing works is we're going to take a deep breath through our nose and let it out through our mouth. And what we do is when we take that breath, we want to smile, S, take a deep breath, and relax. Okay? Smile, take a deep breath, and relax. So like this, we go take a deep breath through our nose and let it out. We're going to do that 3 times. So that's 1. Smile. Let it out. One more time. Very good. You can grab a seat for me. We're going to do the last part from the seated position. We had fun. We de-stressed. And the last part I need from all of you today is a commitment. And that commitment is to this important work that we're going to do today. And so the commitment you can see here on the screens. Today's commitment that I'm asking from you is that I commit to meeting 2 new parents or caregivers or community members in this room. And we're going to have a chance for some work together today to do that. So again, my ask of you for your commitment is I commit to meeting 2 new parent or caregivers in this room. And if you're willing to do that, could I just get a thumbs up so I can get that visual from you? Thank you very much. All right. So again, welcome to our event today. We are here today to talk about behavior. What we will be doing here in this presentation is helping you understand a little bit more about the why behind those behaviors. And again, as I shared at the beginning, today is about behavior. It's not about discipline, although behavior is the lead-in to that discipline. We will have conversations at a later date in the very near future on that topic of discipline. But we want to understand the why in our little ones, but we want to understand the why within ourselves. So we are going to engage in some important information that you're going to be actively engaged in, and that information is going to be led by Kathleen Erdman. So buckle your seatbelts, and I hope you're ready to have a good time and do some learning today. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you to unbuckle in a minute because we are going to do some more things. I am Kathleen Erdman, and before you ask, I am married to Mike Erdman, but it's not the one that you think. Nothing to do with cars. If you saw the cars that I'm driving right now, you would understand completely that I am not married to that Mike Erdman. So I promise you that. Before I get started, I really want to thank our satellite sites. This is the 2nd Parent Academy that they have hosted. Dr. W.J. Creel Elementary School, MIMS, Lewis Carroll, and Discovery. They are all watching us right now, so we can wave hello to them. I really appreciate their faculty and staff hanging out and hosting parents from their sites and any local schools that wanted to attend. So I'm so glad that they agreed to host this academy again. And I especially want to thank my helpers from Endeavor Elementary. And if you are from Endeavor Elementary, if you will raise your hand and wave, because they are going to be our helpers tonight. So when we do some of the activities, they're going to walk around, they're going to answer questions, they're going to help you out through some of the weird, awkward stuff I'm going to ask you to do. So, and they will help you. She was like, I don't know if I'm going to stay for that, but it'll be fun, I promise, because if we can do it, you guys can do it as well. So what Mr. Reed started with was, again, called the Brain Smart Start. And if you have any kiddos in our schools, a lot of our schools do elements of a Brain Start Smart because our kiddos need to move around. They need to get up out of their seats. They need to get the wiggles out. and they need to get ready to learn. We all came in from, I know I had meetings and emails all day, probably traffic. You drove through the traffic circle. You might have had a whole lot of stuff going on. And engaging in these activities, the goofy connecting activities, the slapping hands. Sometimes in elementary schools, our kiddos are singing songs as well. This gets everybody in the same place, gets them excited, gets that joy juice going because they're laughing and they're goofing around. And then we take those breaths to calm their bodies down, and then hopefully they're sitting there ready to learn and being the best learners that they can be, okay? So if you've got kiddos in our schools, you've probably heard about them doing these things. When I get in front of teachers and I train them on these things, on this Brain Start Smart, I do recommend doing it whenever they see the need, okay? So not just at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, but in between class changes, after recess, after lunchtime for older kids. They're all wired up, right? And then we're expecting them to sit down and learn. They need to kind of be taught how to self-regulate and get ready to learn. Because sometimes we're thinking about a million different things, right? The 4 components that we participated in was an activity unite. We're all kind of doing the same thing, okay? Sometimes in schools, standing up and saying the Pledge of Allegiance together. That's an activity to unite because we're all standing up, we're saying the same words, we're doing something united as a school family. The disengaging stress can be doing those 3 deep breaths, and kids have lots of different ways of doing it. They've got Spider-Man breath, they've got star breathing, they've got angel breathing, they've got all these things that the kids come up with. And then connecting with one another is super important, because what we want to do is make eye contact with others, because what are we seeing now in kids, right? They're not connecting with each other because they're connecting with the screen. So when we practice this in schools, when we model this in schools, it gives kids the opportunities to connect with others in a goofy, fun way that maybe they're not doing quite as often as we want. Okay? So 2 of the things that I want you to leave with today is an understanding of brain states. I'm not giving you a degree in neurology or anything like that today. It's brain states because our brain states dictate our external behavior. And our internal state dictates our external behavior as adults. And understanding what brain states our kiddos are in are going to help us give them the best support that they need in those particular circumstances. Okay? The second thing that we really want you to leave with is an idea about seeing behavior differently, especially in your own children. Okay? Behavior is a form of communication. There's something going on. There's an unmet need, an unlearned skill, a frustration, an upset. There's something going on with that child that they are behaving that way. And we as the adults have to help them, right? This is how I think about it, okay? Everybody in here a parent? Everybody's in here a parent, right? So you got a little teeny tiny baby. Baby cries. What's the first thing you do? Sniff. I was getting to sniff. Sometimes you pick it up. Then yes, you do the diaper check. You do the peek or the sniff test. Absolutely. Because something's going on, the baby's crying. So you pick the child up, you do the sniff test, that's all good. What's the next thing you try? Feeding him, right? And then what's the next thing you try if that doesn't work? You do the mommy bounce. I call this a mommy bounce or daddy bounce. You kind of do this, and you might hum or something like that. You're soothing the child, you're meeting whatever the need is. And sometimes you're guessing, especially if you're a new parent, you're like, oh, baby's crying, right? As we get more experienced with our own children, and most of you in the audience will agree with me, all you have to do is hear the cry and you know what the need is, right? You can tell the difference between a hungry cry, a painful cry, a cranky, tired cry. So as you get older and as you spend more time with your children, you become 100% accurate CSI sleuth. You're like, oh, I need to go change that diaper. I need to go give that kid some food. That kid is cranky. And a lot of times we get so good at it, I think I'm very good at it. I was at Target, and I clearly heard a very overtired baby on the other side of the store. I was like, "Ooh, that baby is tired. That baby is going to scream the entire way." So when infants, before children have verbal ability, we co-regulate those children. Would you agree? We try to meet the need. When they get older, it's a little harder because they do have words. And sometimes as adults, we put an expectation on them that you're going to tell me what you need right now, right? Like, you're upset, tell me what you need and I'll fix it. And that doesn't always work, okay? But there's still an unmet need. It might be hunger, it might be pain, it might be tired, it might be cranky. It might be that you just told me, no, I can't play with this toy, and now I'm really mad. So there's still a behavior happening that is trying to communicate some type of need to the adult. And so we still need to step in. We may not be doing diaper checks at that point, but we still need to kind of step in and get to the bottom of why the behavior is happening, okay? Does that make sense? And then once we do figure all of that out, we can use that opportunity to teach the child how to communicate the need in an appropriate way. So you're throwing a tantrum on the floor in Target, you're tired, you're hungry, whatever it is. I get it now. This is how you communicate that need to me in the future, so I don't have to drag you out of Target kicking and screaming while people have their phones out, okay? So we use the conscious discipline brain state model to very, very simplify. Again, this is not neurology. This is an oversimplification of brain states so that we can understand where we are and where our kiddos are in certain types of upset. And I'm going to go over it very quickly, and then I'm going to go over it in a little bit more depth later on. And I'm going to use my hand as a model. So the survival state, this is red brain. Okay. This is our brainstem, right? And I know there's much more technical words for it. This is our brainstem, okay? This regulates heartbeat, digestion, blood pressure, breathing. This comes online the second that we're born, okay? This is unconscious. This happens without us thinking about it. Kind of down here. In the middle here, this is our blue brain, or our emotional state. This is the limbic system. This regulates our emotions. This is kind of in the middle here. This comes online when the world doesn't go our way, and we understand that now. For little ones, it's usually when first time you tell them no, and they start to get upset with you that they're not getting their way. And then we get kicked into this emotional state. The executive state is like our thinking cap. Once you kind of fold everything over, it covers everything up. That is the prefrontal lobe. This is our working brain. This is our executive functioning skills. This is problem solving. I'm ready to learn. Like, give it to me, I'm here. So that is the executive state. And I simplify it by red brain, blue brain, green brain. Red is survival, blue is emotional, green is executive. And I'm going to go into that a little bit deeper here in a second. Okay, so our red brain, our survival brain, that comes online when we are born. It's reflective, unconscious, automatic. It is triggered when our physical safety is in danger, and if it could be triggered in a real or perceived threat, and that becomes especially important when our kiddos get older. Our skills that we use when we're in this brain state are all of our unconscious skills. Fight, flight, freeze, or submit. Or fawn, which is something kind of new that research is telling us about right now. Okay? Fawn. It's not on the screen because it's very, very new. And I'll talk about that a little bit later if we have time. So fight, flight, freeze, or submit. So some of the behaviors you might see in a person, and I'm saying person instead of child, when we are in this state, the behaviors you might see are physical aggression, hitting, kicking, biting, screaming, pushing, spitting, running. banging their heads, running under a desk, hoodie up over their hiding from people, wanting to be invisible. So that's some of the things that we see at school. And you might see those same things in children at home, or tantruming and thrashing around and things like that. Okay? The developmental question in this state is, am I safe? I don't feel safe. So typically, when we go into this brain state, it is because our safety is threatened. As adults, I don't know if this happened to you guys anytime recently, but I was going for a walk. I live right around here. I'm super lucky to live right around here. And I was using a multi-purpose path. So a multi-purpose path means that there's golf carts and things like that on it. And I'm walking, I have my headphones in, but I was listening to a podcast. I wasn't listening to loud music or anything. And I saw the golf cart coming towards me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm on the side. They've got plenty of room. So I look up again and I'm like, they're not moving over. And this is one of those fast golf, like some of them are fast. I don't know if you live around here. Some of them are very, very fast. And I'm like, he's not moving over. So I'm now going in the grass. And I'm starting to pant. I'm like, I've got nothing to protect me from this thing. It's just me walking. My heart started racing. My heart rate got super duper fast. Kind of felt my blood rush to my head. I panicked. My heart started beating. I was breathing really, really fast. And it kept getting closer. And I saw that it was a younger man. He was on the phone driving this thing super fast. And so I kind of jumped out of the way. He never saw me. So I composed myself, and then I'm mad. Okay? When I saw that golf cart coming at me, I was here because I thought I was going to get hurt. That was a real physical threat coming at me. Another example I can give is if you've ever driven on the road and somebody almost ran you off the road, and you panic and you shake and your heart starts beating super fast, that is throwing you here. Okay? So we actually experience this all the time. We don't want to experience it all the time, but it does happen all the time. Where it gets tricky is when our bodies do this and there isn't a real physical threat imminent. So PTSD is an example of that. So a healthy survival system works when a perceived threat or a real threat happens. I almost drive off the road. I'm driving back on the road. I'm like, okay, safe. Kids are safe. They're gone. Okay. So I've been pulled out of my survival state because I realize I'm safe. I'm out of it. An unhealthy survival state, okay? An unhealthy alarm arousal system happens when you might get pulled into that state and it takes you a really, really, really long time to come out of it. Or you get triggered into this more frequently than really you need to be. And if you think about our kiddos, especially in schools, we have a lot of kiddos that come from bad situations. And so they come to school here. They walk in the door right there, okay? Another example of this might be, if I hear a loud bang and it startles me and my heart races a little bit and I'm like, oh my God, that was a loud bang and I'm scared for a minute, then I realize everybody's fine, I'm good to go. But if I hear a loud bang and I run out of the room, even though I know I'm safe, I'm spending too much time here. Does that make sense? Okay. You're going to see me do the search for this because I set it down. I usually set it down someplace and then I can never find it. Okay, so how to help an adult or a child in a survival state, and we're going to practice this in a minute. But I'm going to go back to, actually, I'm going to go back here for a second. Parents can get thrown here too. So example of that, and I talk about me a lot in these things because I like to talk about me, but I give you real life examples. Sometimes you can relate to them, sometimes you can't. I used to live in New Smyrna Beach, and in New Smyrna Beach, up to a certain period on the beach, you can drive on the beach. So I was on the beach with my daughter. She was probably 4 or 5, something like that. And we were way, 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 way far away from where the cars were driving. and she knew to look both ways and to let me know before she walked down to the beach. She was 4. I had very high expectations for that actually happening consistently all the time. She ran out in front of a truck. Like literally, it happened so fast. I had never moved so fast in my life. I grabbed her, and I immediately started yelling at her and reminding her how many times I told her, no, you gotta look before you need to cross the street and all this other stuff. And she looked at me and she starts crying because now she wasn't here, but I put her there because I was panicked. I thought my child's life was in danger. I thought my child's life was threatened. So I flipped out and I pushed my child into that state because now she's like, this crazy lady screaming at me. And I don't even know what I did. So I wanted to point that out as sometimes we as parents can go here because something scary just happened to our child and we go into mama bear, papa bear mode and we get scared. And so we flip out, appropriately so, but we've got to get ourselves out of it before we can calm our kids down. Would you agree? Okay. So helping a child in a survival state. So the first thing is, and it's way easier said than done, is respond instead of react. Okay? So this, I'm gonna say this is not, let's pretend this is not a life-threatening situation like my daughter running in front of a truck when she was 4 years old. Okay? We have to respond instead of react. And even if we are in a panic, we've got to get ourselves calm so that we can then get our kiddos back into a safe place because they might be panicked as well. Okay? So let's say we have a kid in a tantrum. Let's say you have a kid under a desk or under the bed, just completely silent, like zombie kid. They're not responding to anything, okay? The first thing you're gonna do is take a breath because you need to be calm. You need to get yourself out of that red brain in order to help the kid. The first thing you're gonna do is you need to get what's called joint attention. And if you've ever tried to talk to somebody while they're looking at their phone, you don't have their full attention, right? And if a kiddo is upset, if your child is upset, if your child is angry, they may not be looking at you. They may be doing something else. So in order to get their joint attention, it's kind of a trick, but not really. You want to describe something about them that they're doing in the moment. Your face is going like this. Because even if they're not looking at you, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna look at you and see what kind of a face you're making. Or your arm is going like this. Your head's going like this. And a lot of times, they'll look up because they wanna see if you're right. Because kids like to tell us when we're wrong, right? Okay. That's when you start co-regulating with that child. You've got eye contact with them, they're in a panic, that's when you're gonna take that deep breath with them. Because that's called mirror neurons. People pick up on the energy of others. So if I'm calm and you're panicked, you are more likely to come to that calm level if I'm there co-regulating it with you. So the first step in getting a kiddo out of a survival state, getting a kiddo out of that tantrum, getting a kiddo out of that freeze phase is to describe, to get joint attention, and then you're going to co-regulate a breath with them. Okay? So I would like you to find a partner, and I would like for one of you to face that way, and one of you to face the screen. You can stand up, you can sit down, you can do whatever. If you don't have a partner, raise your hand, and we will send one to you. Okay, so ultimately we want one person to see the screen and one person to not see the screen. Okay? Okay. But yeah, you want to see each other, but we want one person to see the screen and one person to not see the screen. Okay. So as you're finding the partner, I'm going to tell you what to do. We're just practicing this first step. Yep. So we're just going to practice this very first step. Okay. So we're practicing the first step, which is describing. You're describing that, you know, your face is going like this, your eyes are going like this, your mouth's going like this, maybe your tongue's going like this. So whoever is facing the screen, I'm going to give you a picture that I want you to imitate. And then the person not facing the screen is going to practice describing your face. Ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so just practice it. And you can elaborate a little bit. You can go further. You can be wrong. I see a lot of giggling going on, and I'm not sure that that's accurate, people. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay, now we're going to everyone who was not facing the screen, you can turn around and see what your model was supposed to be doing. Okay, there you go. Okay, now we're going to switch partners. You can switch chairs or turn your chair or do whatever you want. And if you can, practice your breath first. Because again, if you're in a panic mode and you're concerned or something, you can kind of take a deep breath first, and then you can use that description language. Your face is going, your arm is going, your mouth is going, your eyes are going. Be creative with it. Be as descriptive as you can, because if you've got a kiddo that's not responding, you got to keep trying. Okay? So if you say your face is going like this, he's not looking up, you got to try again. Okay, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, see, everybody goes, oh, when they see this one. Hey, I see some really good ones, you guys. You guys got this one good. Yeah. Okay, everybody turn and look and see what your partner should have been doing. Oh, look at that face, right? This is what I saw you do. You start laughing because it was like, it's hard to do, right? It's very hard to do. Okay, you guys can have a seat because I'm going to go on to the next brain state, which is the emotional state. This is one close to my heart or close to my brain because I tend to spend a lot of time here, guys. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? Our emotional state or blue brain, the limbic system, gets triggered when the world does not go our way. And I cannot count how many times the world did not go my way today, okay? It constantly doesn't go our way, right? It is reactive and it is somewhat unconscious, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute, okay? The skills that we have when we're here in our emotional state is what I call the personal playlist. These are all your experiences that you've had from this point in your life backwards. Okay? So if you've ever been wronged, if you were ever treated badly, if you had a bad experience, if you had a parent that was not supportive and loving to you, and something happens, this is where you go. And this is the stories that you tell yourself when the world does not go your way. Okay? Some of the behaviors that we might see in kiddos, clinginess, crying, whining, name calling, social exclusion, bullying as they get older, all that fun stuff, blaming other people. As adults, a lot of times that we blame ourselves. Like, how many of us are real hard on ourselves? That's because our personal playlist taught us how to do that. Okay? I'm going to talk about later about this green brain and how this is an awesome place to live, but we don't have a house here. I would like to tell you we have a house here. We just visit. The emotional state is where we go when things aren't going our way. So here's an example. If I'm in a great mood, I had a great day, all my emails are answered, I got wonderful news, I asked my boss for anything I wanted and he gave it to me, I'm having a great day. I go home, I go to Publix, go to the checkout line, the express one. The lady in front of me has 15 items instead of 10. I'm in a good mood. I don't care. Knock yourself out, sweetie. I'm sure you're in a hurry. It's fine. Now, if my day did not go that way, I was cranky, angry, irritated. I already told my husband I was going to Publix. I'm already in the line, and he tells me to get 3 more things. Nope, you're out of luck, buddy. If I'm in that line and there's somebody with 11 in front of me, you don't think I'm not giving the judgy stare? I'm going to give the judgy stare because I'm in a bad mood. We are much more willing to accept and be calm and be composed when the world is going our way. Same thing with traffic. If I'm on the highway and I'm having a great day, oh, you need to merge at the very last second because you weren't planning? Yeah, go ahead. It's fine. But if I wasn't in that mood, buddy, you got to wait. Not going to happen. Is that accurate? When the world is going our way, we're much more willing to be patient and exercise patience and use composure with other people. And especially with the teachers that I work with, this is a big one. Because how stressed are our teachers right now? How overworked are our teachers right now? How underpaid are our teachers right now? All of the things. They walk in with 20 kids or however many kids are in their classroom. They can be walking in here, and they've got to get back up to their green brain to help all the little ones in there. I know when my daughter was younger, there were some evenings that I'll tell you right now, I was not the best parent to her because I did not have the bandwidth. I was exhausted, I was tired, I was stressed, I was financially strapped. And ask me again about your permission slip. Oh my God, right? So this is where we go when the world isn't going our way. And ultimately, what brings us out of this state is the feeling of love and connection. And I know that sounds all woo. It really is. If we feel loved, if we feel connected with the person that we're dealing with, it is much easier to be pulled out of that state and into our green brain, which is where we want to go. Okay? Disconnected children are the hardest ones to pull out of. Okay? They have to feel loved, they have to feel connected. They are much more likely to behave the way you want them to behave if they feel loved and connected. And not just by you as parents, by us as the teachers in the room, by at school, everything. If they feel loved and connected and a part of a family, they are much more likely to cooperate and be willing to do the tasks that we ask them to do. Okay? So the next step in our little exercises, and we're going to practice it in a second, the hardest thing for parents, and I'm speaking personally, is instead of controlling the behavior, I have to connect with them. Because as kids get older, we as parents, when they throw tantrums in public, what happens to us? We get embarrassed. I did. I'm not going to speak for everyone in the room. I would be mortified that my child was acting like that. And I'm like, oh my God, so embarrassed. And it's just about stopping the behavior, not teaching a skill, not making a connection, not figuring out what the need is. I just wanted it to stop. I didn't care what I had to do. It had to stop right then. But nothing was getting accomplished for preventing it again in the future. So connecting instead of controlling is the hardest part. And so how we do that, how you can practice it, and it is hard to do, is after you've done the description, your face is going like this. The kid is acknowledging you and now looking at you, hopefully looking at you, and making some kind of connection. You're going to guess as to what the problem is. You seem angry. You seem bored. You seem hungry. You seem tired. And it's okay to be wrong. Because if you're wrong, they're going to tell you. They will tell you, right? They will tell you. I did this in a school. I'm like, you seem really angry right now. I'm not angry. I'm mad. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's keep going with this. Why are you mad? What's going on? So That's the next step, is to ask you, or not to ask, to make a statement. You seem, make a guess. It's okay to be wrong. They will correct you 9 times out of 10. And if it's a teenager, you will be wrong 100% of the time. Resist the urge to ask why. And this is hard to do. This is very hard to do. I was, in a former life, I was a school counselor for a million years, and that was part of my thing. I'm like, well, why'd you do it? Why did this happen? You failed this class. Can you tell me why? And most of the responses I got were, I don't know. Or now it's IDK, I don't know. Or they'd shrug. Now, what I did when I was a teenager, and my mother, and I would be here, and my mother would be here, and she would be like, why? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? At that point, I'm like, I'll just make something up, because I don't want to hear about it anymore. Not a great way to solve the problem, not a great way to give her information to help her solve my problem, but I just wanted to stop, so I thought of something. I made something up. That's another reason why, especially with older kids, try not to ask why. They probably don't know. Okay, so find your partner again. So we're adding a step on. It's not the same pictures, so don't get excited. Okay. Find your partner again. If you don't have a partner, we'll find you one. So we're going to do the first step, which is describe. So you're going to describe the face. And the next step is you're going to make a guess as to what your partner might be feeling. Your face is going like this. You seem blank. Okay? Ready? Y'all, I will tell you, I spent way too much time on the internet trying to find funny faces just because I thought it would be fun. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Remember, your face is going like this. You seem, fill in the blank. Okay. If you've done it, go ahead and turn around and look at the picture and see how accurate. You can grade your partner's accuracy of the face, okay? Grade your partner's accuracy on the reenactment. All right? Okay, so now we're going to switch partners. Same thing. I would like you to, try to practice the breath first, because that's what kind of gets us to the spot where we can even do these things. So again, your face is going, your arms are going, hands are going, your eyes, your tongue, your mouth, your cheeks, whatever it is. And then you're going to say, you seem. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Wow, you guys are good. You guys are excellent, right? Okay, turn around, grade your partner, see how they did on their face. That's good. And again, it's okay to be wrong. Like, you could see this kiddo here. And I might be like, oh, your face is going like this, your hands are going like this, you are so excited. And they could go, no, I really have to pee. Okay? It's okay to be wrong. Like, I have to go. So it's okay to be wrong. It opens the door to the conversation so that you can figure out what is going on. Like we did, like the babies. You pick the kid up, you check the diaper, you try the food, you try this other thing. This is the equivalent to that. You might be guessing, but it's okay to be wrong. They will tell you. Okay, our executive state. This is the green brain, this is the thinking cap, we are ready to go. We are ready to learn. I'm super excited, I'm here. Teach me something. What are you gonna teach me here? That is what we want our kiddos in classrooms to be. Because this is where I'm gonna learn how to read. This is where I'm gonna learn how to do something new and fun and exciting. This is where I'm gonna ask questions that are meaningful and ask for help and problem solve and get along with others. This is where we want everyone to be. But again, I said earlier, as much as we want to live here, we don't all have houses here. We will get thrown down here. It's about how quickly we can move as the adult back up here so that we can help our kids get there too. Whoops. Okay. So what happens here, this is a very responsive, conscious place to be. The bad news is, in a perfect world, in a perfect environment, our frontal lobe is not fully formed until age 24. So if you've ever had a kiddo that you ask, okay, when you get home, I need you to put the backpack away and then get your homework out, but have the snack first. But change your clothes before you go out and play, and then do this other thing. So you've given them 5 tasks that you give them every day, and they still don't do it right. That's so irritating, right? And I'm not giving kids excuses, but their frontal lobe is not formed until 24. Executive functioning skills include organization, prioritization, planning, time management, task initiation, all of these things that some adults I know don't have. They are not fully formed until they're 24. So we can get a kid to this place and be ready to learn, but they may still not have the necessary skill to fix the problem. Here's an example of that. Emotional regulation is another executive skill that may not be fully formed until 24. If you and I are on the playground and you're just taking too long on the slide, you're just, come on, buddy, let's go. You're taking too long. And I shove you out of the way. Not appropriate. We don't shove. We do not shove. We do not shove. And probably what a lot of adults would do, like, how many times have I told you not to shove people on the playground? That's it, you're gone, let's go. You're off the playground. Forget it. You can't play nice, can't be on the playground. If I said, you really wanted to turn on the slide and he wasn't moving fast enough, next time tap him on the shoulder and say, please hurry up. Is that better? Depends on which one you are. I might be like, well, don't tell me to hurry up. I mean, it just depends. But I just gave him a skill that they didn't have before. That child was shoving, and now I'm saying, instead of doing that, do it this way. Let's try it. Does that make sense? So that little kiddo may not have the skills to problem solve, or the verbal skills, or the patience to say, like, the bell's gonna ring. Can you please hurry up? I really wanna go on the slide. I've been waiting 20 minutes. They may not have that skill. Their skill is, you need to get out of my way because I'm gonna go down this slide. Okay? So when we bring our children here, that's when we co-regulate our skills to the kids. Okay? If you ever have a kid tell them to clean their room, and 2 hours later, you walk in and I'm like, did you touch anything? Like, you literally have not touched anything. You've been in here for 2 hours. They're not managing their time. They're not initiating the task. They're probably very disorganized, doesn't know where to start, especially if the room is a hot mess. That's when you say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. The first thing you're gonna do is pick up all your clothes. Do that first, give them one thing. So that happens, hopefully. Next thing is, okay, put your toys away. You're teaching them task initiation. You're teaching them prioritization. You're teaching them goal orientation. You're teaching them and modeling it for them instead of expecting them to do it on their own. And I'll later on, I'm going to give you some more strategies that hopefully will help you with that. Okay, so once a kiddo is here, before you can teach them that skill, you want to model some empathy. And everyone knows what empathy is, right? Do we feel like maybe empathy is lacking lately? Okay, I'll be honest, I agree with you. So we've described, we've named the emotion. Your face is going like this, you seem angry. Now we're going to model some empathy with them. Your face is going like this. You seem really mad. You were hoping we could stay at the playground 5 more minutes, and we can't. You're not giving in to them. You're acknowledging they're upset, which is okay. It's okay to be upset, but we don't want it to be destructive. We don't want it to last forever. And we want to help the kiddo understand, like, I get it. You're not happy right now, and that's okay, because things doesn't go ever for my way either. So using this statement is modeling empathy. Then you can follow that up with, that can be hard. Leaving something fun is hard to do. I get it. Okay? So that's what we're going to practice next. So if you find your partner, new faces again, something different, describe. Your face is going, your arms are going, your tongue is going, your cheeks are going, whatever the case is. You seem, and then name the emotion. And then you're going to make a guess, and you can make up whatever it is, because I don't give you that much information. You can make up something that maybe is contributing to that disappointment, contributing to that anger. Okay? Again, you seem upset. You wanted to have another snack. That can be hard. Okay? Try it. It is a little harder this time. Okay. Okay, ready for the face? Partners ready? 2, 3, 1. Your face is going, your nose is all crunched up like this, your eyes look like this, your teeth are going like this. You seem really hungry. Okay. All right, so partner, turn around and look at the face. Right? That's scary right there, right? Okay, switch partners. We're going to do one more. Okay, so again, describe, name, acknowledge. Describe, name, acknowledge. Here we go. We have some excellent reenactors. We have some excellent reenactors. Okay, everybody turn around, look at your little guy that you were reenacting here. This could have been a lot of things. This could have been, you look tired, you look upset, you look hungry, you wanted more ice cream. There could have been a lot of things going on. So the wrap up to the empathy section is, I get you're upset, and when I said earlier, it's about stopping the behavior, especially in public, it is about stopping the behavior. But you want to, show kids that it's okay to have feelings, because we don't want them to push them all down, because they will explode one day, okay? You're showing empathy by saying, I get it. Being hungry, being hangry is, I'm getting there, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, so if I get a little cranky towards the end of this, but letting them know that you understand they're upset and you're trying to help them come out of it, okay? Now, maybe at the next Parent Academy that we have, we go further into, okay, your face is going like this. You seem really upset that we have to go to bed now. I get it. Going to bed is hard. Next time, say, Mommy, can I stay up for 5 more minutes or something like that? You try to give them some other solution. You try to model or co-regulate the appropriate way to express their need, as opposed to tantruming, crying, biting, spitting, kicking, things like that. Okay? So again, the brain state model, feel free to take pictures of this or take pictures of the posters or anything on the way out. But ultimately, what I want you to leave with, if you do nothing else, and I do this a lot of days, when I'm pulling in my driveway and I'm here because of my day, at least knowing that I'm there gives me tools. Because then I know, okay, I'm gonna let the dogs out, I'm gonna change into my jammies, I'm gonna do a couple things, and then I'm gonna go do this other task that maybe I'm not looking forward to. Knowing that you're here, or knowing that you're here, empowers you even more so than having all of these strategies for kiddos. Because you know what brain state you're in. You're guessing the brain states of other people. I have my theories on some coworkers, but I could be wrong. I only know what brain state I'm in. So I hope that gives you just, and maybe when we do these again, I can go further into it and give more examples and things like that. But it is super helpful for parents to know what brain state you're in before you're dealing with your child. Okay? I will give you another example of my daughter's older now, so I can talk about her. She's fine with it. She was very, very young. I don't remember whose house we were at, but she tripped over the edge of her rug and cracked her head right on the corner of a table. And the sound, sorry, you guys know the sound when the kids hit their heads. Oh my God. It immediately makes you feel sick and scared because I was like, oh my God. There's going to be blood, there's going to be whatever. I immediately went into a panic because I thought, now I'm going to have to go to the hospital. She's got brain damage, something horrible happened. So I went over to her, and of course they have that second of like, and then the screaming. It takes them a second to realize they're hurt. And in that second, I took a breath. I went, because I looked and I was like, okay, there's no blood yet. She's making eye contact with me, so hopefully there's no bleed happening or anything like that. I took a breath and I went over, and she immediately started screaming, and I breathed with her. I was like, that hurt. You really nailed it. Like, you really nailed your head. That hurt. You're okay. You're safe. And if I hadn't have done that, if I had come over and been like, oh my God, we have to get eyes under your head right now, that would have, ramped her up. Okay? So those are some of the things, and they're really hard to deprogram us as parents because we do go into panic mode whenever something happens to our babies. Okay? It's very hard to reprogram us, but these are just a couple of ideas and solutions. And there's tons of stuff online if you want to go look into this further, or you can contact me and I can give you more resources. So this is the whole thing that we did, bottom to top. So if you want to take a picture of the screen, go right ahead. But this is describe, so we're trying to get out of our red brain, name, acknowledge. So that's the whole process we did on one screen. Okay, so I'm gonna spend the last little bit talking about something that's super, super, super easy to integrate into your home because it is a teacher's best friends. Friends. Strategy. We love visual schedules and routines, and I'm gonna give you lots and lots of examples of these, okay? We process information visually at a lightning fast speed than we do verbally or written. Okay, would you agree? All right, so here's an example. I'm going to read this. Never cross a red line. Only the person hitting a ball should stand beyond the red line. All other players should stand behind the red line at all times. Players are responsible for the safety of others around them and should always check their surroundings before swinging a club. What are you picturing in your head right now? Golfish, something like that. Okay. You guys ever been to Topgolf? Which is faster? Right? This poor guy lost his nachos. Look, he got smacked, and his nachos went all over the place. They didn't even talk about nachos in the description. I was kind of bummed about that. But the option of seeing the sign or reading that, which is more effective? And if I've got maybe a struggling reader in my family, I want them to see the sign first so that they understand how that works. Okay, a lot faster, right? Okay, this is lengthy. Give bison space when they're near a campsite, trail, boardwalk, parking lot, or developed area if it need be. Turn around and go the other way to avoid interacting with a wild animal in close proximity. Approaching bison threatens them, and they may respond by bluff charging, head bobbing, pawing, bellowing, or snorting. These are warning signs that you are too close and that a charge is imminent. Do not stand your ground. Immediately walk or run away from the animal. Spray, bear spray if you have it. This was on a pamphlet when I went to Yellowstone National Park, but as I bought my ticket, they gave me that. It's hanging in my office, by the way. I scanned it and put it in here. Which is faster? Which is more effective? It's a lot faster to see that bad things happen when you get too close to wild animals, right? So what I see, what I did as a parent, and what I did for many years when I was a school counselor, is I would have all of my rules written out. Like, you can do this, you can't do this, and I would write them all out, okay? In my house, I would give my daughter the instructions. When you come home, you need to put your backpack away, then empty the dishwasher, and then do this, and then do this, and then do this. And 9 times out of 10, I got maybe 1 done. And I was so frustrated. I was here every day because I'm like, how many times have I told you to do this? And then she would say 500, and then it escalated, right? Okay, so removing that conversation, removing that effort with visuals can help. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't happen all the time. Ever put something together from IKEA? Now, we laugh, but look how happy this guy is. He's got a big smile on his face. Look, this immediately tells me I'm not going to want to do it by myself. I'm going to want to do it with somebody else. I want a friend because it'll be way, way better. But imagine these instructions, especially the ones on the right, if they were written out. Can you imagine how many pages that would be? That would be unbelievable. That would be very difficult. That would be divorce material if I had to read that to my husband while he was putting something together. Visuals work even with adults. But again, they don't work all the time. Here's an example. What? You're laughing like you know what I'm talking about. Okay? So I use this on purpose. I drive this thing every day. I'm very good at it. I don't even need the sign because I drive it every day. I'm used to it. I've practiced it. I've modeled it to people that are in from out of town. I'm like, this is how we go. This is the lane we want to be in because over here we want to make a right. Now, I get it. I do it every day. So I am a ninja level expert at the traffic circle. But even with the visual, a lot of people are not. Okay? And so you always have to be prepared. Visuals work when you practice them. And so when I work with teachers in the classroom and we talk about visuals, like you can put your daily schedule up. You can put a routine of how to take the laptops out of the cart and put them back in. And you can put those visuals up, but you still have to teach the kiddos what they mean. And so that's why I'm using that as an example. Okay? This is a visual that I made for my nephew when he was skipping one of these steps. He was skipping 2 of the steps, actually. Okay? He was skipping the flushing and the washing of the hands. Okay? And my brother and sister-in-law were super frustrated. They were super frustrated. They were like, we tell him all the time. And then he comes out, they're like, did you flush? And he's like, yes, they didn't. You know, so I said, just eliminate the argument, eliminate the conversation. Put this up, and what I did was I laminated them because ick. And I put them up in his bathroom, kind of like this, on the way out the door. And so he saw them. Initially, they had like little Velcros, and he would move them over if he did them. And he felt very Like, cool. He was like, oh, I did it. I did it. I did it. That was up for maybe a couple months, and then they took it down because it wasn't a problem anymore. But they had to teach him how to use this tool, okay? So this is an example of a kiddo that was in foster care, and I made this for them, and it was because they were in different locations. Sometimes that changed, those routines changed, but the routine of waking up did not change. You need to get up, you need to get dressed, you're gonna have breakfast, then you're gonna brush your teeth. And then there was other, get your backpack, all that other stuff, okay? So you can find pictures online anywhere for millions of different activities that kiddos might struggle with or forget. This is co-regulation in a way that you are teaching kids how to manage their time, you're teaching them task initiation, you're teaching them prioritization, and you're teaching them goal management, because if they get them all done, they've met their goal, okay? And you don't have to constantly remind them and start an argument. So here's another one. This is a nighttime routine: dinner, TV, bath, read books, bedtime, especially if you have somebody who maybe is resistant to going to bed. This one is one that I used for a friend of mine whose daughter struggled with cleaning the room. Again, she would go in there 2 hours later, there would be nothing done because she'd find stuff to play with, and then, actually I do that too when I'm cleaning my kitchen. I might need one of these for me. So we broke it up into tasks. Whenever she was asked to clean her room, which was a weekly chore, first thing you do is you make the bed. The second thing you do is put away the clothes. The third thing you do is clean up the toys. So it was a task. So when she completed a task, she moved it over and she moved on to the next one. And over time, she no longer needed these visuals because she had the routine down. So instead of my friend having to go in and say, you put your clothes away, go back and do that, or you didn't do this, go back and do that. When I was a kid, and my mother told me to clean my room, I would take everything and I would shove it under the bed, which, of course, didn't work. She would get mad at me and I'd have to do it all over again. But in my mind, I'm like, the room's clean. Like, you didn't tell me how to clean it, but it's clean. I was that kid. So what comes around goes around, so I already got my karma, in case you were wondering. But I would just shove everything underneath my bed. My mother would come in and she would get mad at me about it, and I would have to start all over again. And that preceded a whole miscommunication between the two of us. Clean your room. If I don't know how to clean my room, I'm not going to maybe do it to your standards, so you need to teach me how to do it to your standards. And it's about teaching. We do a lot of assuming that kids know what we want them to do because it's already in our brain. But sometimes what they picture in their brain is not what we picture, right? This is another really good, especially for older kids. Take a picture of what you want it to look like when it's done, okay? Teachers, especially, they have like a cleanup time, like when the song starts, clean up. But the cleanup area should look like this when it's done. So if you can take actual pictures of your actual children completing a task, this is a really good goal. Then I know what it's supposed to look like at the end. Because again, what I think is clean may not be what you think is clean. But if I have a picture and you and I agree that this picture is what it's supposed to look like, the likelihood of me meeting your expectations is higher. So again, you can find stuff like this online and make little cards and everything, but if you can, taking actual pictures of your house with your children in it is much more effective, because then they see them doing the thing and they might get much more excited about it. Okay, so I'm wrapping up with this statement, and then I'm going to hand it back over to Mr. Reed to say goodbye to us. But ultimately, we're kind of like our cell phones. When we're fully charged, we can run a lot of apps, we can do a lot of things, we can do all of this stuff, we can multitask, we can problem solve. So when we're fully charged, we're here. But if we're stressed and we're tired and we're hangry and there's things going on in the world that we can't complain, and we're here, we're not fully charged, this is where we help our kids the best. This is where teachers help our kids the best. This is where principals help our kids the best, is when we are in this state and we are fully charged and we can co-regulate and model and coach kids through their behaviors that are disruptive. Yes? Okay, so fawn. So what I mean, so fawn is new. Fawn is a response to typically violence in the home, either spousal violence or kids violence. Fawning meaning, I'll do whatever you want. Whatever it is you want, people pleasing, over people pleasing. So that's what fawn means. It's relatively new in research. That's why I didn't put it on the slide, but I did want to mention it because it is getting mentioned more when we talk about survival state and that fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Like, I'll do whatever you want, just stop hurting me.
Do you know where it was like discovered or where literature is coming from as it relates to where?
For fawn, I don't at the moment. It was at the last conference that I went to about this, and they did not give me the citation, but it makes sense. So I am going to look into it further because we actually do have kiddos that do that, for sure. And I'm going to, again, my name is Kathleen Erdman. I have 2 N's at the end of my name, not 1, which is why I'm not married to that Mike Erdman. So you remember it that way. I'm going to hand it back over to Mr. Reed, and I will see you afterwards.
Thank you again, Ms. Erdman. Great job. I hope that all of you found some valuable information about in today's presentation. Again, composure is a very important thing. And I hope you saw composure in self and seeing composure in others and can see that lens in children. So I challenge you to stop, think, take a deep breath, and think through the situation so that you can determine where you are and to best determine where a kiddo is. And we're going to keep working to do that in our classrooms. Again, you being here today is us teaming together because we can't do this job without you. You are, again, your child's first teacher. And again, I just wanted to thank you for coming out today. Again, Kathleen, you could reach out to her if you want further information. My name is Chris Reed, and I work in student services, and I'd be happy to provide you with more information if you have questions on this topic. But we're going to give you 14 minutes of your evening back here, and we appreciate you coming out to learn with us. Thanks.